Okay. Q it is 38, 23, 32. Okay. Why did I ask this? Because we know how hot it is this summer, right? And I'll be giving on one case study why I'm asking this. So there's a company, okay, and let's suppose you or me, any one of us are the CEO of this company, this chief executive officer, okay. And what we have observed is during summers, the sale of air conditioners is rising in one city of India, that's Hyderabad, whereas the sale of air conditioners is not that good in another city, Bangalore. During summer, I'm saying, because during summers only we prefer to use the air conditioners, right? So the sale is increasing at Hyderabad, but not at Bangalore. And I got to this from one of the Power BI report that was shared with me by my Power BI developer. And I got to know that the Hyderabad is having good sales, whereas Bangalore is not having good sales. So I thought my company would not be making more profit in Bangalore. So what can I do? Okay, first thing I want to ask you guys, why is it? Why is the air conditioner making more sales in Hyderabad in summer compared to Bangalore? People in India who have at least some idea about or who have somewhere visited this, they would be able to answer, or you can give a guess also. Any particular reason why is AC or the air conditioner of my company selling more in Hyderabad but less in very less in Bangalore? I'll be looking for a chat. Yeah, very good. It's okay because of hot temperature at Hyderabad. The temperature of Hyderabad is more correct. Great. So that is what I was going to do. So because the temperature at Hyderabad shoots up to 40 or more than 40 during summers. Whereas in Bangalore, if you know, or if you have stayed, or if you have visited, or if you know anyone who stays there, mostly every evening it will rain and the temperature is hardly above 30. So there is no requirement of an air conditioner, right? So this data I got to know from my Power BI report. I'll show you how to create this Power BI report from where I got this, but basically I got to know that, okay, this is the sales happening. So what will I do? Should I stop when going to Bangalore? No, right? What I'll do the other way, I'll start increasing the production of water geysers at Bangalore. And if you guys have visited Bangalore, most of the households, they have a water geyser, but very few have a air conditioner because of the climate. Correct? You will be agree with me, right? So what I mean to say here is climate is a decision-making factor for me when I am talking about sales of my appliances. So what I'll do is I'll increase the number of outlets of air conditioners in Hyderabad. On the same time, I'll increase the number of outlets of water geyser in Bangalore. Got the reason? And why did I take this decision? This decision that I took was an intelligent decision, right? If I do the reverse, it will be loss for me. If I increase the outlets of my air conditioner in Bangalore and water geyser in Hyderabad, it will just be the opposite, because in Hyderabad we do not have very chilly winters also. It's very normal type, pleasant winters, right? So these are the decision making factors you take. And how did you come to this decision making factors? Basis data. If you do not have data of your sales, you will not be able to take these decisions, right? You will be made a fool by your any people. So data makes you intelligent. Got it? That's why we call intelligent decisions. And this type of decisions are taken basis the support of data we have. Okay, now that we are speaking about data, let's learn a little more about data. Fine. Let me go to the next slide. Okay, what is data basically? So if I ask you the definition of data, there will be a numerous definitions to this. But to sum up in a single line, I may call data as a new oil. Why I'm calling this as a new oil? What is oil basically? You know what happened with the invention of crude oil? Or this is not invention, basically it would be a discovery of crude oil. We got lot of things, right? The phone or the laptop that you are being using right now to watch this video was shipped to you at your place by a transport, may it be anything like bus, train, air, anything. But that particular whatever the transport was, it consumes some fuel, right? And that is oil. With the increase in oil prices in India, we have been seeing a rise in every rise of price in every commodity, right? There's an inflation, in fact. So you can see what oil is doing. That's the reason oil is oil. I do not mean edible oil or the any other form of oil. I mean here crude oil, like petrol, diesel, these all things. So with invention of crude oil, things changed. It became easy for us to commute from one place to another, for things to move from one place to another. But in 21st century, it's been called that data is the new oil. And this is not me who I'm saying, this is great forums like great magazines like The Economist, they are saying this. Why are they saying this? There would be a certain reason, right? Why is data called the new oil? Any particular reason? Okay, I'll give you a few examples why I'm calling this. I'll give you these examples based on real-time experience that I have faced. Okay. Few months back, I bought a laptop. Okay. And this is from my Amazon account. I bought a laptop, and wherever I've scrolled down for next couple of days, I used to get this notification saying inspired by your browsing history. And it is asking me if you want to purchase a mouse, a laptop bag, a keyboard, a laptop cooling pad, again a mouse. These all things are coming out of suggestions basically, because Amazon knew that I bought a laptop, and then it is asking me, okay, it has stored the data somewhere that this guy Chinmaya has bought a laptop. Now he or she, he might require a mouse, a bag, a keyboard, anything. So they are giving me suggestions. Yes, I required that. So again, I purchased a mouse from that. After I purchase a mouse, they will ask me, okay, do you need a keyboard as well, a mouse pad? So these are the suggestions. And this is not for me. For you guys also, you would be facing the same, right? You search for something in Amazon, the very next moment you open Facebook or YouTube, you get an ad related to that. Is it correct? That's how your data has been stored somewhere. That's how your data is being used. And you are basically, I'll say, the customer who gets lured towards that ad. Then you start purchasing those things, right? So this is how Amazon is saving this particular, what you call, the data. I bought an Apple phone, and now if you recall, Apple is not providing chargers. And Amazon knew that very well, so it asked me whether do you want to purchase a Apple charger also. So these are all related to data. These ads, they do not come like this. They have somewhere the data stored. They have the data stored of our browsing also. If you are searching something in YouTube or Amazon, they have this data also stored. That this particular ID has browsed or searched these items. The next time they are in stock, they will give you suggestions that now we are in stock, now we are in discount. This is the lowest price you have seen in this year. Lot of things. Okay, what all next you can get from this data? One more thing I'll see. Netflix. I was searching for a movie 2 months back. Okay, you can see this 26th, and this is a screenshot from my phone only. I was searching for this movie in Netflix, Gangubai, and then I did not get this. And I was searching like 2-3 months back in Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hotstar, a lot of things. Sometime later, I saw a notification coming up to me, like saying this movie that you are searching or title is now on Netflix. What does that mean? At a point of time, if I search something in Netflix, and if it's not available, Netflix will not let go the data like this. It will store it somewhere. That's why whenever the movie came to Netflix, it gave me a suggestion saying now it is there, now you can watch. And now I watched this movie, right? So this is how ads are coming. This is how your data is getting generated. Got it? So basically, if you see, this is not me. This is related to all the data. And companies like Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Netflix, LinkedIn, every Tesla, every company that you see today are generating a lot and huge tons of data, GBs of data, right? And what are they doing with this data? They have to store it somewhere, right? If they keep on generating data and if they do not store, it will be simple garbage. It's as simple as we keep on piling the newspaper that we get every day, but we do not study that, then that's of no use, right? We need to make a good use of that. That's how data is for all these companies. Can you imagine, guys, now the new form of marketing, what is called as digital marketing, the Instagram reels, the YouTube shorts, all these are new forms of marketing. So they basically are, they can reach, these all things can reach, they do not have boundaries. They can cross the borders anywhere, right? One more thing to note, I'll ask you guys, today is 12th June. 5 years back, where were you? Can you give me an answer? 5 years back at the same day, what were you doing? Which all places you visited? Can any one of you give me an answer to that? Most of you may not recall what happened that day, right? It is 5 years back, a long time, 2017, 12 June, it's long back. But if you want to see where were you can use Google Timeline. Do you guys know about Google Timeline? Let me move out of this, show you the Google Timeline. So this is Google Timeline basically. See this, right? This is timeline for me. If I want to go 5 years back, let me go to 2017 Zoom, and today is what, 12th, right? See, 5 years back, Google is saying me I was in this area, somewhere in Hyderabad. I would be moving, right? I don't know which all places I visited. Google has saved everything of this, where I visited, what was the time, what time I did. So can you guys imagine how much data Google is able to save from me? What all data Google has basically related to me? And this is a small snapshot of all the places I have visited across India from Google Timeline. So these are all screenshots I have taken from a real-time experience. Okay, and this is not for me. You can go to Google Timeline and you can see what all places. So how Google is saving this data. Basically, we have our GPS on, right? Whenever we are traveling, that's enough. It will store the data wherever we have visited. Tomorrow I visit Mumbai, it will give me new suggestions of all the cafes, all the restaurants nearby to that place. That's how Google stores your data. We don't know. So basically, if I ask you what were you doing 5 years back, you don't know. I don't know, but Google knows that. That's why we call, right? Google knows us much better than we know us. That's the common say nowadays, right? It knows what you like, what you dislike, what are the places you have visited, all these things. Fine. Okay, let's go to the next one. How many of you have seen this phone? Okay, this phone basically, or at least have heard about this company somewhere. Many, right? If you go 10 years back, 10 to 12 years back, this was a common phone in every household. Every second phone, you just pick it up and it was a Nokia phone basically, right? But now how many of you are using this phone? I think very less. It would be not that proportionate to that we were using 10 years, 12 years back. What happened? A company that was being used, whose cell phones were being used across, basically if I say specific to India, it was used across households. Now we do not have at least a proper product of this company. So I'm not defaming this company. What I mean to say here is, what happened that when people were so fond of Nokia, now they are rarely using a Nokia phone. Something would have happened. What would have happened? Any hints, guys? I would be like to be an interactive session. I would be looking for your chat, so it's always open here. I would like to do this to be an interactive one. Exactly. Sandeep is saying it did not adapt. That's what. When the environment, Darwin's principle, right? You need to cope up with the environment. When the environment was changing, when your surroundings were changing, when all were moving towards Android, Samsung came up with a Android phone in late in 2009, 2010, right? People started seeing a smartphone for the first time. I'm speaking about India specifically. Then at that point of time, they could get an affordable smartphone, maybe at a higher price, but Nokia did not adapt to that. When things were changing, Nokia did not change. The result was it had to close its manufacturing unit. A lot of things happened, right? That's what. So when the market is changing, when the environment is changing, when everything is changing near you, you also need to change. Like in IT, we call, right, we need to upskill ourselves every time. Because if we do not upskill, we become eroded, we become degraded. So we are not updated with what's happening. Got it? That's the reason I have been putting this example saying that whenever things are changing, you need to change. Now I would like to put it with the relevance of the data. When all companies are being data centric, right? When all companies are moving towards data, they are storing data. If you do not change, you means you as an organization, I'm saying, okay, sorry. You as an organization doesn't change, then nothing can change. It means if you organizations needs to be data centric right now. They need to focus on the data. Fine. Okay. Let's move to the next part. Okay. Now let's come back to the topic. So now I think you guys are comfortable understanding what is data and why data is required, right? Only if I start with saying data is a new oil, you need data everywhere. So I'll be coming to Power BI, but in a stepwise manner. Now, before coming to Power BI, let me come to what is BI. Power BI is of two words, like BI, what's that? Business intelligence. Now, recall the first example that we had. What was that? It was related to the air conditioner sales and the water geyser. And at that point of time, you as a CEO, you took an intelligent decision, right? What was the intelligent decision you took? You basically increase the sales of water geyser at Bangalore so that it can compensate the loss of the air conditioner that happened. So that's how you increased your business. And that is business intelligence. You apply certain intelligence to increase your business. Got it? So BI tool basically makes you comfortable with this data. The data actually, it comes in a very raw format, right? You see a car, right? The car looks very good. It looks awesome. But if I take away all the parts and if I basically dismantle the car, you'll not be able to understand what the car looks like. Same is data. When data comes, it comes in a very raw format. We sometimes call in the data as garbage data, unclean data, unstructured data, a lot of things come. Now, after cleaning that, when we create very good visualizations and when we properly arrange that data, that's how now we start taking intelligent decisions and we increase our business. That's why it's called business intelligence. It may be called the other way around, but this is how we can basically refer to that. Okay, there's a guy called Stephen Bobs. He had given a very good example of what is this. A real-time or enterprise. Enterprise means any organization without real-time BI is a real first dumb organization. He's using this word real 3 times. You see, real, and now you see everything we want to have it in a real-time format. What is real-time? Live. Okay, to give you a small example, earlier what used to happen? Any data that companies used to maintain, it was mostly Excel file. Excel is a static file. Static means it doesn't change. It's not real. That sales that you have is basically for the last month. That's May. For June, you need to wait for the month end. A lot of things happen. But with coming of this technology like BI, Power BI, everything is happening real time. At this point of time, at 10 a.m., I can see what's the sales happening right now. Right now, I mean. And that not in a located to a specific location, span globally anywhere. That's how real time we are being. So everything is real right now. Okay. So what he means is every company, if they do not move towards a real time BI, they are going to get dumb organization. The same example that we saw with Nokia. God forbid it might happen to any company. Okay. What does this business intelligence do? So first thing, out of business intelligence, simply just understand one thing. We can create. That's why business intelligence is also called as data visualization. We can create some pie charts, bar graphs, all these things. We can create all this, and the senior management, let's say the CEO, the CFO, they will be able to do the analysis saying, okay, this is where the sales is happening good, this is where the sales is not happening good. They basically can find the loopholes. The air conditioner and the water geyser example was a example of a loophole that we saw, right? That why sales is not increasing in Bangalore for air conditioners. And they can take corrective actions, and the increasing the sales of water geyser was the corrective action that did. Also the sales team, right? Basically the marketing team, the sales team who have basically targets attached to them, they can also basically look after this type of BI tools. Okay, now if you see this particular meme that I've shared from a movie from Fear Hera Fairy, a Bollywood movie, basically there's a scheme that this guy would have put to him saying, if you give me money within 25 days, I'll double it. Okay, how relevant is this? I'll tell you. In BI, we call there's a term called grow your business by 10x. How that is, basically you invest X amount of money in a BI tool. Obviously, you would be going for a subscription. You would be hiring BI developers. You would be setting up a team. There are a lot of things you need to pay for, right? So let's suppose you have paid 10x amount of money, but the output that you get from a BI tool is more than 10x every time. It can be 100x, 200x, anything, but it's always more than a 10x. That's how the counting goes. So investing in a BI tool is not a loss for you or for any organization. It is a investment basically that will be giving more returns. Clear? Okay. Now let's come to what is the workflow of this business intelligence. Okay. How does this thing operate? So you can see slowly we are coming to the BI topic, right? Okay. Again, I'd like to give you an example to you. Okay. While sometimes at mid o'clock after 12, and basically when I'm at Hyderabad, so basically I stay at Hyderabad, and when I'm hungry, what I do, I order foods from, let's say, Swiggy or Zomato, any food delivery app. It may be 1 a.m. in the morning or 2 a.m. in the morning, or let's say at midnight also. And this is not me who I do this. I know many of you guys would be doing this. Correct. At midnight, if we are hungry, we are ordering food. And it's nothing wrong about that, right? But one thing, did you guys notice? When we are ordering the food, we are paying right from our bank, from our credit card, debit card, whatever it is. Okay. Online transactions, I'm saying. And we are able to get the food. But at that point of time, at the midnight, is the bank open? No, right? It's closed. Earlier, what was the process? You need to wait for morning, go to the bank, stand in the queue, withdraw money or cash, go to the restaurant, pay the money, and then have your food, right? But now things have changed. You're paying it online, anything, let it be Swiggy, Zomato, whatever it is, or Amazon, Flipkart, you're paying it online, right? You're paying in the midnight when the bank is closed. It means the branch is closed, right? But the bank is not closed. Why? How come you are able to do those transactions? Because somewhere down the line, there are certain servers that are running online, that are 24/7 online, and that are supporting you. Whenever you are doing a transaction from a credit card or debit card, basically that server that is there in the bank is basically doing a transaction for you, right? And it is always online. But if it sometimes goes offline, recall how bad it is. You recall those days in India when we used to have this Flipkart. Why I'm saying about India, because we have many participants outside India as well. That's why I'm being very little focused to what happens in India, but many of our participants are from India. So whenever there's a sale in Flipkart or Amazon and the server goes down, we see this, right? Sometimes it happens, the server goes down, a small dog type comes up in Amazon saying sorry. You know how frustrating it becomes, right? You know there's a sale, there's a price is reduced, but you are not able to execute that transaction, right? We know this pain that happens. So if something goes online to offline, or something goes down, or something, basically the live servers, basically if something hampers that, we know the frustration that we have. Okay, this was the example. Now let's see what is this particular model tells about. First thing to note, there are two things. One is OLTP and there is OLAP. This is called OLAP, OLTP. What does OLTP stand for? Online transactional processing. And OLAP stands for online analytical processing. Let's first focus here, OLTP. Let's break this words. Online transactional processing. First thing to note, like I said, all these are basically servers. First thing to tell you, these are basically servers. And these are always online. They do not go offline. First thing. Second to understand, these are transactional. Why transactional? This credit card transaction I'm doing, right? It's a transaction. So this type of servers, basically, you can see these buildings, right? These are OLTP servers. Basically, in this building, all the transactions that we do related to bank, whatever we do, all this transactional data is stored here, or the processing happens here. They know how much account, how much balance you have in your account. Basis that they will do the debit, credit, whatever it is. So this type of servers, which are always online and which suppose transactional data, are called OLTP. And these are basically live servers. Live, L stands for live servers. Live means they're always online. Coming to the other part, OLAP is just a carbon copy of this, you can see. Basically a backup of this. And these are only meant, these are also online. Okay, don't confuse this to be offline. These are also online, but these support analytical type of data. I'll tell you what is analytical. Now, we as a BI developer, when we work, we basically, like I said, we need data, right? So we need to connect to a database. So we connect to a database which has data, and we always connect to OLAP, not OLTP, that is transactional data. Why? Like I said, if you connect to the live data, something goes wrong. If you are connecting means what? You are in load for that data, right? If you have a single electricity connection in your home, and if you run 3 to 4 air conditioners, you can see the situation, right? The load increases, that might short circuit and the meter may blast. Something same might happen here also. If every BI developer, or let's say every people who are related to data, connect directly to the transactional data, then there will be a customer impact. And the customer impact is very bad. You know, no organization wants to have a customer impact anytime. There will be a bad customer impact in short. That's why what they do, they create a backup of every data and store it in a warehouse. What is warehouse? We order something from Amazon, Flipkart, and we track that order. We see that it has reached the nearby warehouse. Warehouse in short means go down. We know go down, right? Warehouse go down, where things from several areas comes, products from several areas comes and gets stored at a single place. Similarly, data from all these areas comes from different OLTPs and gets stored in a single place, that is called warehouse. And this particular area is called OLAP, online analytical processing. So whenever as a BI tool, we connect to a data warehouse or anything, we basically connect to a OLAP or a data warehouse. It means we do not connect directly to the OLTP. We connect to a backup of that data. Got it? So that is, sometimes people may ask you, mostly in interviews or in your companies, that which data do you connect to? It is a OLAP or a OLTP. You know, to make the correct decision that time, it has to be an OLAP. We can connect to OLTP, but it will be risky, right? That's the reason we do not want to go for risk, right? Let's suppose I'm working for a bank and I'm preparing the dashboard or report, and I connect to the OLTP. Something goes wrong, the customer would be impacted. You cannot order your food online in Swiggy or Zomato. That's a problem, right? Right. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, now let's come back to the topic. What is basically Power BI? We have learned about why BI, what is BI. Now Power BI, I said, right? Power BI, basically this is first thing, this is an application or a software developed by the great giant Microsoft. And somewhere or the other, we are using this product, right? Let it be Excel, let it be Word, Outlook, anyone. Second thing is that to understand it, this is a self-service cloud-based BI tool. So these are basically divided into two parts, self-service and cloud-based, because we know what is a BI tool, self-service cloud-based BI tool. Okay, I'll come to this individual topic, what is self-service, what is cloud-based. Before coming to that, let me tell you this Power BI is a data visualization tool. What is that data visualization? With data, we create visualization. Visualization means graph, charts, all those things. So basically what it does, it converts data from various data sources into reports and dashboards, which are interactive. We'll see today what is basically all this, how we create this report and dashboard. We'll create a sample report. Okay, fine. Now let's come to this topic, self-service cloud-based. So someone asks you what is Power BI, you need to mention three things to them. First, it's a product of Microsoft, which is basically a self-service cloud-based BI. Now coming to self-service, I'd like to give you an example. How many of you have visited a restaurant where you need not have we do not have waiters over there? You pay the bill or you pay the money to collect a token, go to the takeaway, collect the food, and you have it, right? Like Udupi, a lot of restaurants are there in South India also, in a lot of in North India also. We have this Haldirams type concept where basically you need not pay for that. You need not have a waiter for that. You have to it has to be a self-service, right? So I'll tell you what is self-service here. What is cloud-based? I'll tell you also the example. Let's come to individual topics there. Okay, now here self-service I said, right? So whenever self-service comes to play, there comes an what do you call an opposite or a contradicting term called traditional BI. Let's discuss about this. What is self-service? What is traditional? Okay, we have seen about what is self-service, right? I said. So I'll tell you one example only. Power BI is a self-service BI. Okay, what is that? What does that mean? Basically, whatever things we do in Power BI, first thing is we will be able to do it with our mouse on. Means we need not use the keyboard. Need not doesn't mean not at all, but very less. With the help of mouse only, we will be able to create very good visualizations. So one thing, did you notice here? If you ask me, okay, if you do not need a keyboard, where will you write the code? I'll say you Power BI is such a language or a tool or whatever you say where you don't require any coding. This is the first thing you need to understand, that or the mindset that we have, right? I have come from a non-technical background. I do not have this background in IT. No problem. Power BI is the best tool for you. If you have come from an IT background, great. If you have not come from an IT background, super. No problem. Why? Because you do not need any coding to learn Power BI. Do you require any coding to learn Excel? Have you guys used little form of Excel? You will understand there is no coding required. Power BI is the elder brother to Excel. In short, I'll tell you 30% of Power BI is Excel only. So for people who have worked little also in Excel, if you have worked in advanced Excel, it's great. If you know something what is Excel, it will be easy for you to learn Power BI, because both we call Microsoft the Power BI and Excel as brothers from same mother, or you can call them siblings, right? Power BI is the bada bhai and Excel is the chota bhai, because Power BI has more features. It doesn't matter Excel has come earlier, it's not the bada bhai, but Power BI is the bada bhai or the big brother, because it has more features than Excel. So first thing to note is Power BI is not a coding language. That means that's why it's called self-service. So what does a self-service BI tool means? Self-service BI tool means where you do not need a specific IT team, which means any non-technical user, non-technical guy can be able to implement or create or develop the reports. Guys, if you have any queries, doubt, park it aside, note it somewhere if you want. I'll be opening this forum for doubt clearing. Do not worry. Right now, focus on this class. Okay. This is the first thing to know about what is the difference between self-service BI tool and traditional BI tool. What was basically a traditional BI tool 10 years back, I'll tell you. Not exactly 10 years, because somewhere around, there was nothing like Power BI where we had basically, we can create these visualizations without using mouse. We had to write certain codes. This was the case like 10, 20 years back. So basically you need to write certain coding for your visualizations. But Power BI has made it very simple. And today we will see this live demo of creating visualizations without using our mouse. Sorry, without using a keyboard. I'm sorry, we'll be using the mouse, but without using a keyboard or without basically writing any code. So these all tools like Power BI, Tableau are basically self-service BI tools, whereas these all MicroStrategy, the old big tools we can call our MSBI, these are traditional BI tools. So basically traditional BI tools are what? Which requires technical expertise, right? You need to have certain query building skills there. You need to write certain queries, certain tools. So the first barrier to break is Power BI is a non-coding language, not non-coding tool basically, not a language, non-coding tool. Fine, let's move to the next part. Now, the second thing that we discussed was cloud-based and on-premise. Now, let's again come back to an example. Okay, again, let me go 10 years back, 10 years, 15 years back. Whenever I had to share a movie with one of my friends or a resume or any document, what I used to do, I basically used to purchase a pen drive. I used to transfer the file and then share it with my friend, right? But what was the problem? At a single instance, I was able to share with only one friend. But let's say 3 or 4 of my friends bought at a single point of time. I was not able to, basically I got confused. Then I said, no, you came first, and I'll give you, then you, then you, then you. This was the case, right? This is not with me. This is for everyone, right? When we were using pen drives, this was the case, right? We used to give it to our friends. Sometimes they will not return it also to us also. Sometimes they will return with a virus also. A lot of problem used to happen. Correct? This was the case with pen drives. Now, how many of you are using pen drive? Now I'll ask someone, okay, share me your email, how you're doing. You're just mailing, so share me your basically resume. You're mailing it to me. Okay, I'll see you. I have a good movie downloaded. I want to share with you. How can I share with you? So basically, what you call is, if I want to share with anyone, I have basically to use something called as Google Drive. How many of you are using Google Drive? I'll say if you're not using, start using this. It's a very good feature. Not only Google Drive, I'm not promoting this, anything, OneDrive, Dropbox, any cloud. So what happens if I want to share a movie with my friend, I'll just upload to Google Drive and then I'll share a link with all the friends who want to see that. They can basically download that, they can view that, whatever they feel like. That is the great thing about cloud. And this is cloud. And irrespective of whether my friend is sitting at US, at Australia, or at India, he or she will be able to view that particular file. That is what cloud is all about, right? So what happens once when we are preparing, or once we are basically developing the reports, then we need to publish it to the cloud or upload it to the cloud. That is the Power BI cloud, and we call that as Power BI service. The cloud part of Power BI is called as Power BI service. Today we will be seeing this also, how we publish a report and how we share with the end users. Basically, they can see this report. So basically, there are two parts in Power BI. One is cloud-based, one is on-premise. On-premise is what? There are certain companies, there are certain organizations like financial institutions or something. They do not prefer to go for cloud due to some XYZ reason, due to some security, whatever it is. For them, we have something different called as on-premise. What does an on-premise means? It means, like the name suggests, on-premise means within a building. There would be basically a server that would be located at a building of your office, and you have just a limited network over there. So people who have access to that server or a limited network will be able to access your Power BI files. Okay. Do not make a note of this. You'll be getting this PPT. Don't just understand it. So this is the difference between cloud-based and on-premise. Cloud-based is something once you publish it to the web or the cloud or internet, everyone can get an access provided you provide the access. It's not like I just upload and everyone can see that. I need to provide the access there. But in on-premise, basically, you do not, it is very, very restricted, where you need to have a user ID, password, and lot of encryption over there. So in today's world, 95% of Power BI users are preferring on cloud-based. There are some 5% who prefer on-premise. Reason being, on-premise is very costly compared to cloud-based. And cloud-based is very easy. Right now, at this moment, I do not need any admin, any infrastructure support over there. I can just purchase the cloud or the Power BI service, and I'll be able to do that. Whereas for on-premises, I need to purchase servers. I need to hire people who have to look after the servers. Lot of things, right? Okay. This is the main difference between self-service BI tool and traditional BI tool, the previous slide, and cloud-based and on-premise. Got it? Okay, let's move to the next part. So if you see this meme, it's basically this guy is crying when someone says that Power BI just a visualization. No, it's not like this. That's a lot behind after this visualization. We'll see to that. It's nothing like only you create a visualization. There are a lot of things beyond that. Okay. Now, when it comes to learning some BI tools, and if you know, or if you have been in the market, or if you have heard from somewhere, many of them will recommend you go for Power BI. Some of them also will recommend you go for Tableau or any other BI tool like Click. So I would like to basically give you a comparison of why to learn Power BI compared. So there comes a confusion, right? And if you guys also would be confused, should I go for Power BI? Should I go for Tableau? I would like to make this confusion clear, right? Why to go for Power BI? I'll give you with certain facts. I'll justify this with certain facts. Okay. Before I come to that, how many of you know about this particular brand or this car or this brand, this car manufacturing brand? Again, I'm not promoting this. I'm just giving an example to this. How many of you know this particular brand? What's the full name of this brand basically? Exactly. Many of you have correctly given the name. It's Maruti Suzuki. Why I have basically gave this name is you go to market or go to anywhere you go, every second car or third car you see is a Suzuki car, Maruti Suzuki car, right? Why is it so? Why many people prefer to use this particular Maruti Suzuki? Now I understand there are a lot of competitors coming up in India like Hyundai, Tata, Mahindra, a lot of, but still Maruti is being preferred by many. Any particular reason? Okay, few of them are saying it's good mileage, perfect, less cost and more comfortable, correct. Narendra is saying build quality. I'll say Narendra, build quality is some contradictory statement because Maruti cars are not that good in build quality. You get spare parts everywhere, perfect. Old is gold. Okay, Vijay, I understand old is gold, but old is not always gold. Why? Because if old doesn't change, it will not be gold, it will become carbon. In short, they need to update. But yeah, you are correct that it's because it's in market for a long time. People prefer cheap and best services, cheaper maintenance, good support, less cost, mileage, good resale. All these factors basically enable. So whenever someone wants to buy many of time in India, if they want to buy the first car, many people prefer to use a Maruti Suzuki car. The main reason it's the first thing is that comes to our account is two things. Kitna deti hai? That's what we ask, right? What's the mileage? And the second is what's the cost? Okay, these are two main deciding factors that come. After that, okay, where do I have a service center in my town or nearby? Because I cannot go 300, 400 kilometers every 2-3 months to do the service, right? These are certain factors that we keep into mind, and that's why we go for a Maruti Suzuki car. Correct. I would like to justify this with why to go for Power BI than Tableau. Okay. The first factor is, like I said, cheaper. See, the cost of Tableau as an organization, I'm saying, okay, the cost is for a user, for a single user, it is $70 per month per user, which roughly comes to about 5,000 INR per month or 5,000 rupees per month. More than I can say this, right? More than 5,000 rupees. Whereas on the same side, Power BI is just $10 per user per month, which means 700 rupees per month. See the difference, 700 and 5,000. This is the first difference we are getting. Okay. Now you'll say, okay, what happened? If Power BI is cheaper, but let's see the features. Okay, let me come to the next one. What I said, Power BI is what? Bada bhai of whom? Excel, right? So both are from the same mother, Microsoft. So anyone who has been using Excel, so many organizations, or some of your organizations also The data right now, they would be sharing in Excel format. In short, Excel is still a visualize or a BI tool for them. For those organizations where the developers, everyone has been working in Excel and they migrate to Power BI, it becomes easy for them because the interface is easy to use, or it is a relatively easy interface. We know how easy interface Microsoft products are, right? No one needs to tell you how to use an Outlook. No one needs to tell you how to use a MS Word. You learn it by yourself. That's how we call easy interface. Same goes for Power BI. It doesn't mean that no one will tell you how to that. I'll be teaching you in details of what this tool is, but it's easy to use. Once you understand, you'll be able to do it. It's very simple to use. No complex things in here. Third feature, updated features. Every month, every single month, Power BI will come up with a new update. And with this new update, basically, they have bought all those features that is going in the market. They will do a proper study, survey of understanding what all things are there in market, and they will come up with these features. The best thing about Power BI is Microsoft support. Somewhere or the other, we are using a Microsoft product. Let it be Excel, Outlook, anything. Nowadays, coming to cloud also, let it be Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, anything. We have been using Microsoft product. So once you enter this ecosystem of Microsoft, you are embedded to the other ecosystem. People who have been using iPhone, you know, right? The next phone that they purchase is an iPhone only, mostly. Because once they enter this Apple ecosystem, or they are using this Apple ecosystem, they do not want to come out of that. That's the great thing about, or that's the best thing about these products, right? Same goes for Microsoft. Once you enter this ecosystem, it makes it very easy. As simple as now, okay, if you want to go for, if let's say Office 365, Power BI will be charged less, or it will be free to you, something of that sort. So basically, it is you enter the ecosystem and you can avail all features. And Microsoft has a tool for most of the technologies, most of the features, right? So these are only few points. There are a lot of points beside this. In the coming slide, we'll see why Microsoft or Power BI is a leader. And there are a lot of points behind this. And these features make it, so why, because of these features, what happens? Companies are moving towards Power BI. If they were also using Tableau at one point of time, because of being cheap, because of this Microsoft support, everything, they are planning or they are migrating towards Power BI. And because of these reasons, you have a lot of openings and career opportunities in Power BI. Let it be for freshers, let it be for experienced guys, anyone else. You learn this tool, you'll be having a lot of career opportunities. You'll be getting a lot of calls. So this is a trending tool right now, right? And to the next step is, because if you will go to the market, you apply your basically resume somewhere, you upload in Naukri.com or LinkedIn, wherever it is, or Indeed, you'll be getting a lot of calls related to this. You can see that after once you are done with the learning, you can see that. Fine. I hope few of these points were enough to justify why is Power BI better than any other BI tool, or let's say, to be specific, the immediate competitor, that is Tableau. Now I said these points, right? But I would like to justify with certain facts and figures that's there in the market. The first thing is, there's a company called Gartner. How many of you have heard this company named Gartner? If not a problem. Let me show you why I'm referring to this. Gartner every month comes up with a, basically you say a BI tool. What is this? A BI tool magic quadrant. Okay. So what they will do, they will create 4 quadrants: challengers, leaders, niche players, and visionaries. Challengers are basically for those who are not exist, they're extinct, they cannot survive in the market, or they are on the verge of extinction, you can say. Niche players are basically, they are just new to the market, very less customers, very less customer base. Now from people from here, or companies, sorry, basically products from here or BI tools from here will move towards visionaries, which means they are on the verge of basically they are on the verge of going towards the leaders category. Leaders is the topmost category. They are the market leaders. So this is the case in 2017. I said, when did Microsoft release Power BI? When was that? It was in 2015, right? And this is just 2 years next. And you see, after 2 years, it was just 2 years old. Tableau it came to market in 2003. Microsoft Power BI came to market in 2015. It's 12 years older than Power BI. But you see, the very moment it came, within 2 years, you can see Tableau little ahead of Power BI. Just little ahead of Power BI. Okay, let's come to the next year, 2018. You can see both on the same lines. Both are same. Right? 2018, this is. Means they both are the leaders right now. Again, coming next year, 2019. Now you see this. Power BI has moved ahead of that. Right? 2020, next year. Power BI has moved much ahead of that. And going forward, you see 2021, 2020, you see the difference. So Tableau was acquired by SalesForce, that's why SalesForce acquired Tableau. And now this is the case of Microsoft. It's the top leader in the segment. Fine. So someone is asking, how does it compare to Google Data Studio? So you can see Google here, right? See for your, so that's why you can see the company name. This is Microsoft. Microsoft means Power BI. Google means related to Google. Microsoft, all these things. Okay. Not only this, there's a Google trend as well. How many of you know about Google trend? This is a very interesting thing. If you don't know, learn it from here. So what is Google trend? Basically, in Google, you can see the trend of Google searches happening. And if you see for the past 5 years, you can see the search for Power BI has increased. Okay. If you open this link, basically, it will open the Google trend link and you can see this. This is Power BI search. This is for the past 1 year. Let me make it 5 years. Okay. And see in last 5 years, this is how Power BI has been searched. Now, if you compare this with any other BI tool, let's say Tableau, and this is not limited, let's restricted to BI tools. You can search anything here and see the search happening. The blue indicates Power BI, the red indicates Tableau. And you can see who is the top in the top right now, Power BI. In short, again, this is for mostly for India. You can check for your own country over here. So basically, you can see that Power BI is moving ahead of Tableau in all aspects. This is also an indicator that people are searching more for Power BI than Tableau right now. Fine. So these factors basically make you or can convince you to learn Power BI than any other BI tool right now, because you cannot learn 2 BI tools at a single. It's not, I'll not say impossible, it's not advisable. Learn one BI tool, be a master in that, and then you can definitely learn add-on. You can add on your skills there. Fine. So now that we have been convinced about what is Power BI, what is Power BI, let's create a sample report. Let's see how easy it is, and then we'll further move to the further slides here, right? Okay. So let me now open the Power BI. So first thing to understand, guys, you need to install Power BI. To install Power BI, basically there are 2 ways. I'll suggest you, there are 2 ways you can do. You can do it parallelly, but if you do it parallelly, you might get deviated because you will be getting a recording of that. You can refer to that recording and you can do that. It's up to you how you do that. Okay. So to download Power BI is very simple. Just you go to Google and say download Power BI. Simply download Power BI. It will open a link for me basically. Yes. So if you see the first screen that comes up is if you go to the top left, okay, forget about the rest of the things here. Just focus on this part. Microsoft Power BI desktop. I hope you guys can see the screen, right? Can anyone of you confirm, please? Yes, thank you. So this is Power BI desktop. Okay, so there are 2 places here. This one, download, advanced download. Let me click on download. If I click on download, it will take me to Microsoft Store. Okay. So for users who have Microsoft, who have Windows 8 and above, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11, they have Microsoft Store with them. And it will open Microsoft Store. Basically, it is as simple as your App Store that we have, right? And you can see here, if it opens Microsoft Store, you have this Power BI desktop. Because I've already installed that, it is showing as open to me. For you, it will say install. You can simply install here and it will take like some 10-15 minutes. Power BI will get installed to your system. This is first way of doing that. What's the second way of doing that? Let's go back to here. Advanced download options. If I click on advanced download options, basically you can see that I have an option over here, download. Let me click here and you can see that again. You can see that again, there are two places. One is 64-bit, 32-bit. Depends on what's the bit of your computer. You can get to know about the bit of your computer from my computer. If you go to, basically, let me cancel this. If you go to this PC or my computer, whatever you have, basically, not reset this PC, basically. Go to this PC, go to properties, and there you will get to see what is the 64-bit or what is this, whatever it is, right? You'll get to see that. Mostly nowadays, all computers have 64-bit. If it's a very old, it might be 32. So these are the two ways or two places from where you can download Microsoft Power BI. That is one from the App Store. The other is from the website. Which one should I go for? If you ask me, I'll say prefer this first. Prefer this, then go for. Why is this? Because this is like your app. Once we install an app like WhatsApp or Zoom or whatever it is, there's a new update that comes off, it automatically gets updated, right? We do not need to uninstall and reinstall that. So in this case, like I said, every month Power BI comes with new updates. Automatically, the updates will get updated in your system, in your basically app. So you need not, it will basically, you need not uninstall and reinstall for the new Power BI. But now, let's suppose you have installed this. If not, you can try it later. Don't worry, it will take some 10-15 minutes. It depends again on your internet connectivity, a lot of things. You can get this installed, and after install, let's suppose I've already installed. I'll show you the next process. I'll search for Power BI. I do have Power BI here. Let me open this. So whenever we open Power BI, first screen that comes up here is like this. For me, it is showing as learner 02 because I've already signed in. But for you, it will show you sign in. First thing you need to do is ignore this. Just click on cancel. Ignore it. Right? After you ignore this, this is the screen that you get. This particular screen is where we basically create the visualizations or the graph charts. So this graph chart, all these are called as visualizations. Okay, that's why Power BI is also called as a data visualization. So what will we do here is we'll connect to a data, we'll bring a data here, and then we'll create a visualization, and then we'll publish it to the Power BI service. So basically what I am going to show you guys is this is the architecture of Power BI. What's that? Basically, this is the data source. So in our case, the data source right now is an Excel file. We'll connect to an Excel file as a data source. We'll bring it to Power BI desktop application. So this is the Power BI desktop application that I have opened. Inside this, again, we have three more applications. That is, one is Power Query, the other is Power Pivot, the third is Power View. They all belong to Power BI desktop application. I'll show you what are these three steps. And then after this here in Power View, basically, we create those visualizations. This charts and everything we create it here. And then we publish it to Power BI service. This is the cloud part. Fine. So we'll be seeing this end-to-end process here today. Okay. Without wasting time, let's go back. Let me do one thing is, first let me connect to the data. So how I'll do is, here you can see data. Here you can see get data. So basically, I want to connect to data, right? In this, I can see different data sources. If I click on this option, I see a lot of data sources. Now, if I click on this more, there are some 200 data connectors that Power BI has. What is this? I'll say there are different sources of data, right? In few cases, it might be an Excel file. In few cases, it can be an SQL Server. It can be Azure, AWS, any data source. Irrespective of the data it is, Power BI treats every data equally. It's impartial towards any data. So in this case, because Excel is something that very easy, and I'll be sharing this data set with you guys. I'll be sharing this whole thing. Do not worry about that, so that you can also create your own visualization. What I'll do is basically connect to Excel workbook. Now, if you connect to Excel workbook, we have the data set stored. So I know where it is saved in my system. So I'll go to that particular place. Okay. This is the sample PBI practice data set. Let me open this. So for people who are asking the duration of this session, it's a total of 2 hours. We have already completed 1 hour. Next 1 hour we have. It's still 12. So if I connect to this data source, you can see that. Let me close this animations. So you can see that there are 4 tables here. So if you open the Excel file, you can see these 4 tables. Let me open them. So if you see these 4 Excel files we have, right? Orders, returns, people, schema. These are 4 basically Excel sheets we have inside this file. The same thing has come up here. Orders, people, returns. And in here, basically, I want only, let's suppose these 3 tables here. I do not need the schema right now. Basically, it's a different thing. I'll tell you in details later what is schema. But basically, I need only these 3 tables. If I click here, you can see I can see a preview here. If I click on orders, I see a preview here. If I click on people, I'm able to see this table here. So what Power BI tells you was, okay, this is how your table looks like. Do you want to go further? If I click here, this is how my tables look like. Okay, one thing to note here is basically if you see, one thing I notice is this column 1 and column 2 is not the name of the columns. Basically, order ID and return is the name of the columns. In short, this first row has to be brought to the headers, or the first row has to be made the column headers. That's what I said, right? When the data comes in the raw format, it is uncleaned, unstructured. We have to clean that data. So this particular cleaning or whatever we do, we call that as transformation. So whenever you are learning any data related thing, there's a term that will always come to your, everyone will ask you, do you know ETL? And if you see the slides also during discussion, let me go back to the slide. Here we were discussing about ETL. We have this ETL here, right? So in short, basically, what does this ETL means? ETL means the E stands for extract data. Let me note it down for you guys. E stands for extract data. T stands for transform data. And L stands for load data. So first thing that we did here in Power BI was we extracted the data from the data source. We did the E part. Now we can do is we will do the T part, that is transforming the data. Why the transformation is required? Simple. We purchase, let's suppose we purchase a pair of shirt and a pant from a shop, right? But the length of that pant is longer than, or it's more than what's our height is, right? So what we do, we go to the tailor nearby and ask him to trim that pant or make it to the size of ours, right? So that we can use that. Same is the case with ETL also. You extract data, you see then that there are some problems here, then you have to transform the data. That's why here, if you click here, Power BI will ask you. One thing to note, guys, you have to click on this checkbox, else this will not get highlighted. If I uncheck here, you can see this will unhighlight. So you have to click on this checkbox, to get this highlighted. So basically we have to do certain transformations. Let me click on transform data, and you can see that Power BI has opened a new window called Power Query Editor. And again, if you recall, guys, I said the Power BI architecture, right? The data we connect to first comes to Power BI desktop application. Inside that, this is the first thing, Power Query, right? So first thing we connect is Power Query. So this is Power Query. We will be able to do transformations. Okay. Let me clear these animations. What was the transformation we did? We have to promote this order ID and return to columns, right? Basically, we have to make them column header. How we do that? So I have already said you guys, right? Power BI is a tool where you are not required to write any code. And I'll prove that here. Just by clicking on an option, you can see this option, right? Use first row as headers. It's a predefined option that Power BI has. What it means is, if I click here, you see what will happen. The first row has been made the headers, column headers, right? So I basically did a transformation here. And what Power BI did is it added a step here. See. So what Power BI does, it knows that, so people who have worked in Excel, you know, or you have worked in any Word or anything, by mistake you do something, how can you go back to that situation? Is you have to again put Control-Z or undo. But if you have saved this or you have closed the file, you'll not be able to do that. So Power BI knows the pain that you guys undergo. That's why what it does, it will basically keep a note of all the steps that you have been doing. And it will show you, see, this was the step earlier, right? After we promoted the headers, we basically promoted the headers, right? This is the step. So in details, we'll see in the subsequent classes what this change type, everything means. In short, Power BI is keeping a note of all your transformations. Similarly, let's go to people here. Here also we can see everything looks fine. In orders, in this table, basically these are three different tables. Okay, these are called table. In Power Query, we call them queries, but queries and tables are the same thing. So these are the three different tables. Let's go to last. Let's see. Okay, here we see that there's a column which is an extra column. It's of no use. Why not delete this? Just right click and remove this. Got it? So what we did is we did some basic transformations. Correct? And then let's click on close and apply. So by clicking on close and apply, what are we doing here is we are first closing that particular window, that is Power Query. And then we are basically applying the changes, and you can see that changes are getting applied right now. So that three tables that we connected to are basically now here, right? Now, I had been saying you, right? Let me go back to the workflow here. So this Power Query, iska kaam ho gaya. This job is done. The next part is Power Pivot. Okay, what is Power Pivot? Basically, in short, I'll tell you. If you guys in Power Pivot, basically two things we do. The first thing is data modeling, which means relationship building. The second thing is DAX, data analysis expression. So in Power Query, what we do, in Power Query, we do the ETL part. Right? But in Power Pivot, so this in Power Query, this is the ETL that we do. In Power Pivot, we do data modeling and DAX. Okay. In details, we'll come to this, guys. Don't worry. Little simpler if I make it. So here you see something called as model. If I click here, basically what it means is these are three tables. We just, so see, it's very simple. If you go to a new city and you do not have your friends over there, what our parents would do, they will call someone, some XYZ person who is a relative of relative, like, right? And they'll say that my son or daughter is coming to the city, please take care or please look after him or her. If anything is required, please look after, right? So basically they create this relationship, or they make use of this relationship, right? So tomorrow something happens to us, we are not able to get something or whatever, we reach to that particular local guardian or relative there, right? Many times it happens. So that's the case with this tables also. All these tables, they cannot be isolated from each other. There has to be a relationship between them. They has to be connected to each other. If they are not connected to each other, what will happen is we'll not be able to create proper visualizations. We will be able to create a visualization, but not in a proper way. While coming to in details, I'll tell you what will be the problem if we do not have a relationship. Right now, you see this people table and this orders table have a relationship, but they do not have a relationship with this guy. They have just broke up with this returns. But if we want to make a relationship between these two, we need to find a common thing, right? If we want to have a relative, we need to have a common thing over them. Someone who should be have linkage with them, right? Some XYZ person we cannot call like this and we say you are my relative, or I have a relationship somewhere with you. Relationship here doesn't mean the other form of relationship, right? It simply means we know someone. Okay, in short, basically, if you see in orders table, we have a order ID here. In returns table also, we have a order ID. Both are basically the same columns, right? In short, if you want to create a relationship between the both, simple thing you have to do is basically drag this and drop it. Done. Now you get a relationship between all these three tables. So returns is now related to people through orders, right? So this is how relationship happen in real time. This is how relationship happen in Power BI also. So in Power Pivot, basically we do this is called as data modeling or relationship building. This is just the tip of iceberg, I'll say. There's a lot of things, basically how to manage this relationship, delete, active, inactive, lot of things there. I'll tell you that in the Power BI course content, don't worry. Now let's create a visualization. The best thing or the last thing that we have to do with the data visualization tool is creating a visualization. Okay, now if I want to see these tables, I can click on this data. So I can see the tables in simple tabular format, right? This is order table, this is people table, this is returns table. These all we did certain transformations in Power Query. Now we are able to see this here. Now let us create a visualization. A simple visualization here. Let me name it. So in Power View, now what we'll do, we'll create a visualization. We'll create visualization. How we will create visualization? What we'll do is let's suppose I want a simple visualization. Region wise sales. Simple. First thing, I want to create a visualization called region wise sales. How do I do that? You can see this part, right? Visualizations. From this visualizations, if you see, if I hover the mouse here, if you see, there are certain visualizations here. Right now, I want to make a very simple visualization called bar chart. I'll just click on the bar chart. I click on the bar chart and I'll get a sample bar chart. What is the visualization that I want to create? Region-wise sales. What I'll do here is I'll go to the, so there are basically I have region here in the orders table. Once you get this data set, you'll get this. We have the regions here. We have region here. We have the sales. So we would be creating region-wise sales. What we will do here is, the best way is go to this region. Where's the region? They are basically arranged in the alphabetical order. Go to region, drag this and drop this region in this particular page. Right? I just dragged and dropped this. Go to sales, drag and drop this. And then you have this region-wise sales. Fine. Simple, very good. Now, did I write anything code here? No, right? I just, with mouse only, I'm able to do everything right. I clicked on this visualization. I dragged those fields and drop here, and now I'm getting visualization. Similarly, let me create another visualization here called category wise profit. And here I want to make it in a pie chart. Let's suppose my client has asked me, I want to see this in a pie chart. I'll say, okay, yes, sir, no problem. Go here. There's a pie chart here, right? Just click on this pie chart. Click on outside. Okay, click on outside and then click on pie chart so that this you'll get this window. here basically what I have to do is make here category wise profit, right? So I can search here category. I have this category here. Let me drag this and drop this category here. I have the profit here. Let me drag and drop this profit here. And I have now created a very simple visualization called category wise profit. Now, if you see this visualization looks little khali type, right? Plain, simple. We will do little changes here and we'll make it little more attractive. How we will do, we'll format this. So here you see there's a format your visual option, right? Format. Click on this. And some basic format. There are a lot of formatting options we'll see in details. But right now I need only basic formatting. Like I want to see the numbers here. I'll just enable the data level. I basically want to create a title here. I want to change this title. This is saying sales by region. I want to change it saying region wide sales. I can change it. Right. Second thing I want to do here is basically if you see this effects, basically I want to create a border here. If you see earlier, there's no border. Now there's a border, right? Let me go back here. Go to the general. So visualization is of two types. One is visual, one is general. Visual is restricted to this visualization. General is for all rest of the things. Okay. So if you see this, so these features are restricted to this visual. So earlier it was only one. Now they're bifurcated into two categories. No problem. So let's go to this visualization. Let me make it little rounded corners so it looks good. Let me make a shadow here. You can see a shadow here, right? And it's little 3D effect. It gives it to you. Now again in this title, I can see the name in the top, in the left, right? I want to bring it to the center. I'll make it center aligned. The background color, I'll put a color here. Little background, I'll give it to this. I'll increase the font size. And now I think somewhat my visualization looks better, right? Better than the previous one, better than this at least. Now, again, the same changes, I want to do it here. And if you see, I spend around 3-4 minutes here to do these changes, right? So to save that time, what I can do is I'll just click here, go to format printer, and people who have used Excel or Word, you know that there's something you might know, there's something called as format printer. This will basically copy this format and paste it here. Click on format printer and paste it here. And you see that the all changes that we did are now done here. Only change that we have to do is we have to change this name of this title. Let me go back to that. Let me go to general, go to title and make it category wise profit. So by default, Power BI gives a title. I don't like the title. I'll change it. Now you see that I have created a visualization and I'll rename this as my sample. Right. I'll rename this page here. So like this, we can create n number of pages and create visualizations here. Let me just show it to you. So like now we only create in a single page. Now this is done. This visualization is done. Let me save this. How do I save? I can click Control. I can enter Control S or save it here. I'll save it. Let's say in my desktop. I'll say my sample visualization, and I'll give today's name, today's date, basically 12th. So basically, if you see, I have created this visual. So this is the last part. Data source connectivity, we did Power Query, we did the transformations, then we did the Power Pivot, then Power View, we created certain visualizations. And now we have basically published this here to Power BI Servers. Fine. We will be publishing. So I said I publish, we will be doing that. So how do we do that? Here we have an option called Publish. Let me click on Publish. If I click on Publish, see, this option will not be enabled for you guys because you need to sign in here. So there has to be, now what happens till this part, Power BI has all given us free of cost till this part. Now it will charge for the subscription. It will charge something basically for us to publish, to share the reports with end users, right? So once we have the subscription only, or we share the subscription with you guys, then only basically you would be able to publish this reports. So you can create reports till here, fine, let me publish. So if I publish, you can see actually this is a different students of me. They have practice it. So you can see a lot of workspaces or basically folders created by them. I have my own folder here. Or this is called workspace basically. That's why I have put this -SWS. Let me select. And you can see this publishing is happening. It means the report is now moving from my local system to the cloud, means to PowerBI Servers. Now, if the publisher, if this has happened, it will say success and it will say open my sample. So do you want to open this? I'll say yes, I want to open. Let me device this and let me click here. So now you can see if I click on that link, I'm able to see this. You can see this visual now published in servers. That is PowerBI Servers, right? If I click on any visualization, you can see the changes happen. These are called interactive reports. That's why. If you click here, this will change. If you click here, basically, if I click here means what? For West region only, this is showing me the sales category-wise profit. Similarly, if I click outside, if I click on technology here you can see for technology only, this is showing me sales. So these reports are, this is only just the beginning. There are a lot of things behind that. There are a lot of visualizations that we create. Okay, this is just a sample one. So you see here, basically, this is region by sales, category wise profit, everything is happening here. We can share this with my end users or with my client. Let's suppose I want to put the name. You can see these are different IDs created. These are actually created by my students only, these different IDs. And basically you can see that I can share with them. I can share with anyone I feel like, and basically they will be able to see this visualization. If I click on send, now they will be able to see this visualization. It's as simple as that. So this is what Power BI is all about. So this is how we created a sample visualization. Okay. Now, if I show you the course content, allow me to show the course content. I'll show you details of what we'll be covering. So before that, let me tell you, so we have just started a new batch. It was just a day back. And if you guys are interested to enroll there, definitely you can reach out to us, to me. So I've already shared my number. Like, let me again share it in this group. You can ping me in WhatsApp or you can message me. So let me show you the course content of what all things we would be covering. I'll come in details. Okay. So if you see, I'll be sharing this link with you guys, but right now let me put it in the chat box also so that you can see that. So this is the total course content, which has basically designed in such a way that it will cover the total level from, it's an advanced level. Okay, not the basics one. So many, you can see many self-proclaimed IELTS trainers, they will go for 2-3 days classes of 3-4 days and they'll do that. That's a lot of things in Power BI. And this course content is designed in such a way so that if you see today we went for the introduction part, right? So if Power BI architecture that we discussed, right? This part, this PPT that we discussed today, our course content also will flow through the same part, same PPT. It will go to the connectivity data source, Power Query, then we'll discuss Power Pivot, then Power View, then Power BI Service. And if you see, the same thing happens here. The first thing is the introduction, then we have Power Query here, then we have Power Pivot here, and then we have Power View here, and then we have Power BI Service, and then we have a project. So basically, this will be taking around 45 hours, and the total duration might range from it will be around 45 hours. Every day we'll be spending 1 hour every day. Again, the timing is, let me make it specific. The timing is 9 a.m. morning, Monday to Saturday. Monday to Friday, basically, sorry. Saturday, if we have any extra doubt or if someone is not able to understand, or if you want some extra classes, we can go for Saturday, but it's Monday to Friday, 9 to 10:30. So why 10:30? I'll say so 9 to 10. We basically will be discussing about the course content, and 30 minutes is for doubt clearing every day. So what I believe is this is something you need to practice it, right? So most of you would be having doubts. There would be a lot of doubts that comes up, and basically if you interact this live classes, your doubt might be someone else's doubt, and someone else's doubt might be your doubt also, right? And their doubt might be an interview question for you also, or if somewhere they might ask you. So that's the benefit. That's a good thing about live classes. So 30 minutes of doubt clearing we'll be having every day. Okay. The second thing is basically the second thing is whenever you are following this course content, you have this check boxes here, right? So either you take a printout or whatever you feel like, you can revise this and follow this. Okay, this I'm done, this I'm done, this I'm done, like this you can revise this. That's why I prepared it with this check boxes. And you can follow, and if you see this course content will follow the same structure. In Power Query, all details of Power Query. Home tab, there are different tabs in Power Query, right? So if you go to Power Query, let me go to transform data, and there are different tabs. And the best thing about this is I'll be making it more interesting for you guys with storytelling, with all. I believe this session was very interesting for you guys, right? Similarly, this also would be very interesting. All these topics that will be discussed. So different tabs that we have discussed, the same are a part of the Power BI course content. Fine. Okay. Second. So basically, if you see, there are two ways. Okay, I'll come to your queries, guys. I'll come to everyone's of your queries. Let me cover 2-3 more points. Then I'll come back to here, right? I said, right, I'll come back to the last part. Okay. So why should I learn Power BI? So if I tell you, basically, first thing about this, I have been always telling you, right? This is Bada Bhai of Excel. So people are migrating, companies are migrating from Excel to Power BI, from Tableau to Power BI, from all BI tools. So basically, you can see there are a lot of opportunities. Second, you saw today, no coding was required, right? Without coding, we are able to do that. And again, migration from other BI tools, because Power BI is more affordable, has more features. There's a lot of migration happening. Many in projects where people are moving from Tableau to Power BI. So in short, basically, you can see a lot of demand for Power BI developers. That's the reason it's a hot skill in the market. And every hot skill backs a higher packages. You can get up to, at least you can expect more than, if you're a fresher, you can expect 4 to 5 as the minimum as the for average salary. And if you're experienced, you can get double of what you are. Depends again on how good you give your interview, a lot of things. But the average hike is 50 to 100%. Now, many people want to move towards data science, towards AI, right? This is a new era that's happening, artificial intelligence. And Power BI is a stepping stone. So this Power BI comes under the larger umbrella of data science, because that is also data that will be taken. So instead of directly jumping to data science, where you will be learning Python, statistics, ML, this will make you acquainted with what is data, how data. So Power BI is basically a visualization tool, right? So data scientists also would be using Power BI to basically forecasting or doing the visualization part. And last but not the least is because I will make this class more interesting for you guys. So I hope this was an interesting class today. Same interesting, I'll be continuing it throughout the last sessions. And if you want to see few of the, basically I want to do little bit of proof. I want to show you why. So this is the basically snippets of appreciation that I've received from my students from the previous batch. Okay. So there were many students. Some of them had responded to the basically the appreciations, and I could get a snippet of that. And you can see this. So basically, they have something good. They feel that the energy, that the momentum that I would be delivering would be throughout the session. And this is not limited to the end of this class or end of this course. Post that also, because I've shared this number, right? I have been creating certain groups there. I am active over there, right? Any doubt that you face, you post it there. The very moment I see this, I'll reply. So these are few of the snippets that my ex-students or the students, they put that if they would like to recommend to any friend or acquaintance, you can see that 95% of them agreed to this. Again, my teaching style has mostly fetched excellent and very good. And again, few snippets of basically, if you see, many people have already attended this. They have attended other courses sessions, and they again came back here. So what I mean by lifetime support is it doesn't end here. Basically, after you get a job, also many of my students, they have already got job in Power BI, and still they call me to understand what's happening, any problem, and I support them wherever it's possible, like weekends, anytime I am a little free over there. So in short, guys, basically, this is the Power BI batch that's starting 9 a.m. to 10:30. It's basically, you can see the different two type of course structures. It's there. One is with videos, the other is without videos. So with videos, you will be getting a recording. Let's suppose you cannot accommodate to this time. Maybe you might be in office or you want to see it in weekends later. But I'll suggest you guys to watch it every day, at least every session. Watch it every day if you are going for a recorded one. So this will make it more flexible. You can practice this n number of times. If you don't want to go attend the live session only, you can go for this. It's up to you which one you want to choose. So like I've been saying here, right, after this course completion, you'll be getting a certificate of course completion from Naresh IT. And the real-time projects will be discussing at the end. Post your sessions are done, all will be discussing each projects, will be working on projects. So doubt resolution in WhatsApp, Telegram. So I have a Telegram group of me. So what I do is basically I create these groups for more better interaction. What I understand is every time we cannot do it in mailbaji, right? So this WhatsApp, I'll be adding you to those groups. So right now, what you can do is you can save my number here, this number, and you can ping me, okay, for any doubt, or you can call me, but try to ping me first, because I might be busy somewhere. If that's required, I'll call you back. Ping me in WhatsApp. I have same number in WhatsApp as well. And if you want to enroll here, that's basically, again, I'll be sharing this link with you guys. If you can click here and you can basically, so right now the demo sessions have started. It has started from last Thursday only. Thursday, Friday, we had 2 demo sessions. I will be sharing those links with you guys as well. So if you're interested, please ping me. I'll be sharing the links with you in WhatsApp, or again, I'll share my mail ID. If you guys want to mail me, please mail me across. My mail ID is Chinmaya10@gmail.com. Keep a note of this mail ID. Fine. So again, if you want to see the course content, I think I've already shared with you. You can click here and you can view the course content also. Fine. So this was the end of this workshop from my side. Now I'll open this forum for you guys to make it more interactive. So people who want to have any doubts, they can basically raise your hand. I'll unmute you. Okay, I can see already few hands raised. Bola ji, Bola ji, you can unmute yourself if you have raised earlier. Okay, he might have raised earlier. Alok, you can.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alok. Thank you. Couple of questions. One was if you could share this difference, Power Pivot, Power Query, and I think third component was Power BI in it. And second is the publishing which you did, is it also part of this Power BI? If we install that, will publishing be with that, or where do we publish, etc.?
Okay, I'll tell you one by one. I'll tell you one. First thing is, you said I'll be sharing this Power Pivot, all this is right. Let me, I can allow you to one. So first things, there's a lot of things in Power Pivot, Power Query. If you see here the course content, so I'll be covering all this in details. So you see, it will not be covered in like in a day or two. Power Query itself, you can see how many I have already given the hours allocated to this, right? From there, you can estimate how much time it will take. And roughly, I'll say tentatively, it will take that much time only. You can say plus minus 30 minutes max. Go to Power Pivot, same thing. I've already allocated that. So this will take its own time, right? That's the reason it is 45 hours course duration. So there's a lot of things behind this. Today, what I said was I'll say just the tip of iceberg, which means just the very basic. There are a lot of things behind that if you want to be an Power BI developer or an expert in that. Okay. Second, coming to Power BI service, what you have rightly said, yeah, we need to have certain credit. Audible? Am I audible, guys?
Now I can, yes.
Okay, so if you see the Power BI service here, basically there has to be a subscription here, right? So I'll teach you guys how to basically go for this free accounts, create this free account so that you can practice. You need not. So one thing I can assure from you is you need not invest a single rupees for any subscription for anything after this. Only the course content, only the course fees or the subscription. After that, all these things, all hack or all jugaad that I can say you basically, I'll be giving it. So you basically need to sign in and then publish it, and then you will be able to share the reports work. So I showed you, right? I have created, my students only have created basically this all email IDs. You see this all email IDs, these are created by my students. I have made them I taught them how to create this basically.
And that is kind of flow in a PPT. You were showing a flow from connecting data to Power Query. So that's the flow. Generally, it comes.
Yes, that's the flow that's a workflow that happens from
Okay.
data source to Power BI service. And our, if you see our course content also goes through the same flow.
Okay. Thank
Right?
you. Thanks.
Vishal.
Sir, what is the difference between Tableau and Power BI? Because
Both are
mainly,
BI tools. Both are BI tools. So
but which is mostly used in companies right now?
I have already
Do
said
we
that,
need
right?
to learn both? I mean, both the things.
No, we do not learn both. You need to learn any one. If you are interested to learn always there's something called primary skill, secondary skill, right? You learn Power BI, then you can learn Tableau. But one thing I can bet you, I can write it in paper. Learning Power BI is easier than learning Tableau. The reason
Because
is
I have gone through Tableau. Tableau is somewhat tricky. Power BI is looking somewhat easy.
That's what I said. Learning, that's what I said. Excel, has anyone taught you Excel, right? No, right? Same goes for Power BI also. No one will teach you what to do that. Basically, it's very simple. You just only need to understand the classes, what I'm missing, and I'll make it more simple for you guys.
Or do we need to have any SQL knowledge for this? Means
No,
for a
see,
job,
first thing I'll tell
company
you,
job?
no, you need not have any prerequisite knowledge to learn Power BI. It's absolutely blank mind you come, irrespective of your background. You are a BA, you are a BCom, you are a BTech, you are a MPA, you are anything, any graduates, irrespective of that. If you come with this mindset that I'll learn, I'll practice, you'll do that. There's no one can stop you there. But the problem here, what happens is the background sometimes comes as a hindrance for us only. We create a hindrance saying I am not technical, I am technical. These things should not come in between. It's pure, if you see today, it was purely non-technical thing, right? So after Power BI, okay, if you want to move more into this data part, you can learn SQL. It's up to you, basically. So
Okay.
but always I will prefer, okay, if you learn something new, it's always good thing, right? You need to always upskill yourself. It's good to learn new.
Okay. Hello, sir. Can you tell something about Informatica?
Informatica is a different BI tool from IBM. See, I'll tell you the audience here is mostly for Power BI, and I'll say Informatica is it's a traditional BI tool, and right now there are very few companies that are using the traditional BI tool that used to use from the past, let's say 10-15 years they have been still using that, but right now many are migrating towards Power BI.
Okay, Power BI is like, it means storing the data.
Not storing data. Power BI is visualization data. So you get that data. So Informatica here, just to give an example, in Informatica, if you have to create this visualization that I create, it's not that simple. Basically, you have to write certain. That's why it's called traditional BI tool. I said, right? Self-service traditional. That's why it's called traditional BI.
Okay.
Okay. Any other doubt? Any other doubt? You have my number. Please ping me in WhatsApp. I'll be discussing with you, or you can mail me anything you feel like.
Okay.
Okay. for all for rest of the people. Okay. Let me attend others. Ibrahim, I have unmuted you. Abdul. Abdul, check. I have basically asked you to unmute if you can unmute.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Hi, Abdul. Good morning.
Sir, actually, my doubt is I have learned Power BI in 2018. May I need to join for new updations?
Yes, there's a lot of things that have changed in last 4 years. Last 4
Okay.
months, I'll say a lot of things have changed. In last 4 years, there are a hell lot of things. You can see
Yes,
the course
yes.
content and you can compare what all things you know, what all things you do not.
Okay, okay, fine.
Right there, you can take a call like this. But yes, there is a lot of things that have changed. You should, I would recommend you to refresh your knowledge. And if you have been
Yes, sir.
using Power BI since then you would be have idea. But if you have done certain
No,
things, it might have.
no, sir. I just learned. That's it. I have not used in between these years.
So it will be, I'll say you should go for this. You should have this refresher.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So may I ask,
Yeah, in time.
sir, can we
Tell me.
give a certification paper of Power BI?
Sorry, can you repeat? Your voice is little laggy. It's coming
My
from.
question is, can we give certification paper of Power BI?
Yeah. Why can't you? So there's a certification of Power BI called PL300. Okay.
PL 300.
PL300. So it's not mandatory for you to do that. But if you want to go for the certification, definitely you can. After this course, you can do that.
Will you provide some guidance about for clearance of certification papers?
Yeah, sure. So this particular course content is designed in accordance to PL300 only. It will be covering those. I would be providing you guidance how to clear that. Do not worry.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Please see, I have noted you. You can speak now. Okay. Prasad.
Hi, Chinmaya. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So, like, do you have any kind of experience required to get an opportunity on Power BI, like data factory
Sorry,
experience?
can you repeat? There's a background noise coming from you. Can you repeat
So-
your and be louder? Sorry.
So, do you need to have a data factory experience to get an opportunity on?
No. That's what I'm saying. You do not have any experience. Nothing. Not Excel also. Simple as that, right? That's why. See, there are two things, guys. First, I'll say there's no requirement to learn anything before Power BI. Second, if at all you feel like I'll make it clear, I'll make it more simpler for you during the conversation. Do not worry. But there's no prerequisite. Post Power BI, if you are ready, you can go for different courses. It's always open. Like you can go for SQL, you can go for Azure Data Factory as you wish. But what Power BI does, it will make you accustomed, it will make you acquainted with the data environment. Right now, things would be little jargons for you that what is this Azure Data Factory? What is this data lake? Lot of these are simple things, but I know technical guys, they make it more jargonish to look to. Basically, once some sort of a, I'll say, cool feature, they make it, right? So, not right now, don't focus on those things. After this course, definitely you can upskill yourself. But these all are not at all a prerequisite for Power BI. Not at all. Why? Because irrespective of whatever data that you connect, may it be Excel or Azure, all are treated same in your Power BI. It means all will be here in this fields table, right? All table will come in the same order. So you need not learn those. Later, you can definitely upskill yourself.
Okay. Yeah. So, and one more question, like, let's say, suppose I have created a dashboard in Power BI. So, and I have been published into Power BI Service. That means it comes under cloud based. Okay. So, if a user has been facing in a performance issue, so what exactly as a Power BI double can able to handle it here? So, as
There would be a lot of Okay, what you said, performance issue, what I believe is, yes, you do have certain idea about Power BI. That's why you have been using this stuff.
Yeah, right.
And the second thing is, this performance issue, again, I'll go back to refer to the course content, right? So there can be a lot of reasons for this performance. Your data might be very used and your subscription would be simply pro subscription. There are two types of subscription basically, guys. One is pro and premium. We'll come to that in details. But there are a lot of factors that might happen for your performance. Second might be your, instead of using what you call the calculated measures, you are using columns, lot of things there. So right now in this audience, I do not want to make it more Japanese. If you have this doubt personally, you can call me, you can ping me, I'll check with you, because you have certain idea, the others might feel that this is something going beyond the scope. So I'll tell you personally that, but there are a lot of factors that come to performance, and I'll be discussing while it's course only. I'll tell you how to improve the performance. That's an interview question also most of the times.
Okay, if you don't mind, can you show us any report which we have been like created some complex report?
Not right now, Prasad, because this forum is very limited and we have limited time. Going
Mhm.
forward, if you enroll or you're a part of this course, these are all a part of that. I'll be showing you real
Dashboard
time.
showing it won't be take much time.
No,
and it
okay.
won't be
What I can show you is, what I'll show you is, I'll show few of which were created by my students only. Let me show you. Because I do not have had it handy. Let me show you. So you can see different workspaces created by my students here. I don't know who has created a good one here. Let me just check once. What happens is we keep on. Okay, one minute. But these are basic ones. These are all basic, like he has created. You ping me personally, I'll share you one link sometime later. You can check that.
Okay, sure.
If you want to basically ping me, I'll just show. There are a lot of, and I need to search basically which one is a good one.
No. What why I'm asking, like I have been attended few demos, and as well as I have been taken some YouTube videos also. So, what exactly the difference between those tutorials and what you are going to teach exactly? That I want to understand. Then only I can able to take a decision whether I can go for
Fine.
this content or not.
Fine, you connect with me one-to-one. I will discuss on that.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. 40. Check once.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me about this OLTP and OLAP one more time, please?
You want me to repeat that again?
Yes.
Swati, how about if you receive the recording and you can watch it again? Because we have a lot of questions from other users. There are two ways we can approach. First, either you get it, you will be getting a recording, you can re-watch that, or you can ping me individually. I'll clear your doubt. The reason is I'll have to again spend 5 to 10 minutes here to again explain the process. But we have a lot of other attendees who want to clear their doubts live here, right? So I think that would be the better way, right? So you can, if you have any doubt related to the course or anything, we can discuss it right away. Or you can ping me personally. Definitely, I have shared the number, right? We'll discuss, or you'll be getting a recording also where you can re-watch that and you can get it here.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anshuman, I have unmuted you. Just check. Anshuman. Vijit. Many people there raise their hands, but Anshuman, yeah, you can speak. You have been done.
Yes, sir. I'm audible to you, Chinmaya?
Yeah, I'm audible too. I'm audible. I can hear. Who's is Anshuman saying? Okay, Anshuman, please carry on.
Anshuman is speaking, sir.
Yeah, Anshuman.
Actually, sir, my question is Power BI is enough to get a job, or we have to learn Excel and VBA and all the SQL? This is my question, actually.
First thing is Power BI is enough to bag you or land you to a job as a data analyst. But if you learn little basics of SQL, it might help you with your job. Basics of SQL, not in depth also, like joins, store procedures, all basics.
Normal basic, you mean to say like select query and all these update and
Exactly. Apart from that, joins is something that mostly people look for, joins and store procedures. So I'll say that's what I'm being very selective here. And again, these are not like prerequisite or something that you are missing here, but it's a good combination. I'll say. Post Power BI course, you can see for this.
So if we learn Power BI only and with some knowledge of SQL, so we can sit in a interview.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Else guys who want to speak? Okay, I'm lowering the hand for everyone right now. If anyone interested again to speak, you can raise your hand. Why? Anyone? So can you can raise your hand? Let me see the chat box. So what is DAX? Please can you explain briefly? Abhijit, it will be covered in my sessions. DAX stands for data analysis expressions, which means basically you need to write those queries basically. Okay, so it's I'll just give you one, not queries in short, it's formulas. In short, in Power BI, we have formulas, right? In Excel, we have formulas, right? Same formulas in Power BI are called as DAX, nothing else. Shagaresh is asking, sir, when will the regular classes start? It will start from tomorrow. Tomorrow again, 9 a.m. we'll be having that same demo classes. If you're interested to please ping me. I'll give you the link. I've already shared the link here also. If you're interested, I'll ping you the link. How will be the recording shared? Yes, it will be shared in emails. Vishal is saying, can we get the recording of the seminar? Definitely, you'll be getting the recording of the seminar. That's why if you want to reach me out in my number. I'll be sharing this recording everything. The reason I'm sharing my number here is, guys, to make you guys more comfortable. See, you would be having 2-3 more doubts over here, right? And you can understand the situation. I'll be having a lot of calls, and these all things would be happening parallelly. But if at any time I'm not able to pick your call, please drop me a message. Definitely, I'll call back you after my time, or I'll ping you at least, whatever it is. You have shared your contact number. This is highly common. Not everyone does it. Tanuja. Thank you, Tanuja. Hi, sir. Can we get a continuous steps? Is there a need of learning ETL process? Vidya Sagar is asking, is there a need of learning ETL process? No. We would be doing it in Power Query only, but you need not learn it from a data engineering set. Only limited things are required for Power BI. I'll be telling you. What would be the job profile title after this course? After this course, basically you will be called as Power BI developer, data analyst, BI developer, whatever you feel like. Any company may give you any data title, but mostly it's a data analyst or a BI developer. Could you explain about M language? I heard M language is a major part of Power BI. Why it is used in Power BI? Okay. Narendra, M language is basically a part of Power Query, and basically that's the you can call the heart of Power Query. It's called mashup language. I'll be telling that during the Power Query sessions. Is Power BI enough to get a job as a Power BI developer? Definitely yes. Could you please repeat what was the difference between self-service and traditional? Ajay, you would be getting a recording of the same. I'd suggest you to go through the recording. If still you have any doubt, you can reach me out. Any morning batch around 7:30. Right now, this is the current batch that we are running. If you want, you can opt for the recording mode so that you can go for the recordings and again join, or you can have your doubt clearing, anything you feel like. Right now, this is the recording. You can check with Naresh IT sometime later, also if we go for any morning batch. Could you please share Power BI, Power Pivot, Power Query, and share it in the classes? Evening classes. Right now, Umar, we have been doing morning classes. So that's what I said. If you want to go, you can go for the recording part so that you can watch it at your own convenience. Or if you go basically feel like, no, this is something that it's not working, you can check with Naresh IT if they have any evening classes. Definitely they can help you there. Fine, I think I've okay, Swati, do you have any more doubt? You raised your not.
Hi, Mr. So my question is this Power BI?
Okay, guys,
is-
let's close the session. We are again, so it's sharp 12, right? So I think I was able to manage it in 2 hours. Thank you, guys. If you have any doubt, you can definitely reach me out. My number again, let me put it here. Swati, you want to say something? You say you can say or you can mute yourself. Okay, my number, I think my number. Ravikant is asking, is it needed to learn SQL Server MSBI? No, not required. Don't go for that. It's all jargons. First learn Power BI, things will come later. Why I'm saying Power BI? Because this is non-technical, guys. This is you do not need coding here. First, be comfortable with this, then you can learn Python. You can be a data scientist, whatever you feel like you can do that. No problem.
Hello, Mr.
Okay. Yeah, Swati.
My question is this Power BI is more complicated to learn because I'm not from IT background, IT become only.
Today, did you
And,
feel it complex?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. I mean, this class which you told now is it doesn't look like that. But
So that's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. I can suggest you 2-3 tips I can give you how you can make it less complex. If you feel like, first thing is practice it every day. So if you practice it every day, people are able to climb Mount Everest, right? If they practice that. So that's something what practice does. Practice it every day. This will be not that complex. It will not look at all complex to you. Second, I'll make it more interesting, and that's my promise. Like today's class was interesting. I hope that was interesting, right? I got many comments there. So I'll be making it same interesting, same enthusiasm will be there throughout the session. Do not worry about that. But the only thing that you need to promise yourself is you need to practice it. So after you practice, you'll be obviously having doubts. And basis your doubts only, I'll get to know whether you are practicing properly. So I would suggest, one thing I can suggest is please try once, practice it, and you'll definitely be able to learn that. That's nothing like non-technical, technical.
okay.
Right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, we can stop here. Let me see 2-3 more chats. Any 7 p.m. batch, please. Currently, I'm doing data science 8:30 to 10 with Naresh IT. Okay. Right now, so what I can suggest you, Ravikant, is right now we do not have any batch. So I can suggest you is if you opt for, see if you want to opt for, you can opt for recording, because this is the only batch that we have right now from 9 to 10:30. Might be sometime later, I'm not sure about that, but